podcast, myself, Joseph Clough. There's obviously a video podcast today. And for more information about me, go ahead and visit my website, which is josephclough.com. As well as that, go ahead and visit my fan page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/josephsfanpage, and also twitter.com/josephclough. Now, today I put actually a message on my Facebook page, and the question actually was, if I could answer one question for you, what would it be? So I've got my laptop in front of me, so excuse me while I look away. I'm just going to refresh and just see if we've had any more, which we have at the moment. So that's pretty good. Now let's start right from the top. So the first one I've got here is, how do you release an unwanted behavior? Now the first thing we have to realize is that an unwanted behavior, although we consciously don't like the behavior, our body, for whatever reason, thinks it's actually doing a good job for you. Your body doesn't do it for fun. It doesn't do it because it's trying to hurt you in any way. For some reason, it just thinks that behavior is helping you in some way. It's learnt, where it be learnt when we were very young, or even in the recent weeks. The body's made a decision to have a behavior. So the way I see it is, if your body made the decision, it's really important to get in touch with your body, because the reason why we have the issue is because we can't consciously control it. So here's my tip for you. First of all, we need to realize that the body, whatever it's trying to do, is always trying to help us. So let's just take smoking. Sometimes people smoke because of comfort, because of stress, because of boredom. These are positive intentions, positive reasons as to why we do what we do, although the behavior can be absolutely crap. Even things like low self-esteem, like the belief of not being good enough. Usually that can be about the fear of being rejected, the fear of looking a certain way in front of people, or fear of what people think. These are all wonderful intentions, but the behavior is absolutely terrible. And that's why they're unwanted, obviously. So here's my tip for you. All you have to do is to go on the inside for a while, close your eyes, and take time out to really get in touch with yourself. The reason why we have the issue is because we're out of rapport with our own body. Otherwise, we just flick the switch and we'd change. If we can't flick the switch, we need to get and reconnect with our body, our unconscious mind. It runs our habits, a lot of our feelings, most of our feelings, our belief systems. It runs the fight and flight response, the healing of the body. So this is the master thing we've got to get in contact with. So all you do is this, all you have to do is this. Close your eyes for a while. And as you close your eyes, really think about this issue. Think about how you know it's real to you, how you experience it. Think about the context of the issue. So maybe it's happens in certain situations. Maybe it's all the time. Maybe it's when you react to a certain thing. Maybe you're feeling a certain thing when it happens. Maybe there's a bit of internal dialogue of you thinking about it first, and then it happens. Really understand the nature of the issue, how you know it's an issue in your life. When you do that, once your eyes have been closed and you're really thinking about this, you then begin to start a communication with yourself, your unconscious mind. You get in touch with your unconscious mind by just simply talking. Imagine having a heart-to-heart with your unconscious mind. All you do is close your eyes, and then you just start talking to your unconscious mind and explain the reasons as to why you want to let this go. Really explain to it on a continued basis. Sometimes it'll change just like that. Sometimes it'll take a week or two. But the more you get in touch with your unconscious mind and explain, there's why it's not helping me. It's harming my health, my relationships, my career, even money maybe. Your emotional well-being, maybe your physical well-being. Really explain to it why it's of importance to you. There's really getting our unconscious mind to really realize the importance as to why it needs to let it go. Then begin to explain to your unconscious mind is what would happen if you were to let it go. What would actually happen? Would you be happier? Would it allow your relationships to thrive? Would it help your business, your career, your health, your emotional well-being? So ultimately we've thought about all the things that's actually not helping us, and then we're starting to think of ways of, if we were to let it go, how would that help us? So it really makes sending a clear message to our unconscious mind as to how important it is to let this go. And then there's where it gets really important, because your unconscious mind may know this, might be motivated now, but now you've got to get it to realize that what it's presently doing isn't really working. So you ask your unconscious mind, for what purpose or for what intention are you running this issue? And then you just keep on going and asking the same question with the answer that you get. It can take a bit of time once again. Let's just say, for example, someone has anxiety. You would ask the question, for what purpose do you run this anxiety behavior? You're always going to get a positive intention if you're doing it right anyway. So it'll be things like protection, trying to get you out of situations, fear of rejection, security, safety. Excuse me once again. Real positive intentions in some way, and you keep on asking the same question with the previous one. So let's have an example here. Let's just say it was anxiety, say, and you say, for what purpose or do you get anxious, or do you run the anxiety behavior? And then it may say protection, trying to protect you in some way. And then you say, for what purpose protection? And you'll get a new answer. It could be things like, to keep you safe. And then you say, for what purpose safety? To make you comfortable, to make you feel okay, or whatever it is. And then you say, for what purpose to feel comfortable, or for what purpose to feel okay. And you keep on going up and up and up until you get the highest level that you can. These kind of answers would be things like happiness, wholeness. And as you begin to do that, if you can imagine the behaviors here, we're breaking outside of the neurological boundary of that issue, all the way outside of it to its potentiality. So we're not letting go of a behavior here. Here's a real interesting thing. We're not letting it go. We're actually evolving it into its true potential. And that's the best way to make changes. Rather replacing, rather just doing suggestion work, it's really about evolving ourselves and evolving that behavior in its true potentiality. The more you do this, the more your unconscious mind realizes how important it is. So that's a great tip in order to be able to make a change when it comes to a behavior. Explain to it why it's important, explain what will happen if you let it go, and then really get that negotiation going. Really get it to realize when you get way up to the top and it gets to the states of happiness and things like that, you say, you the unconscious mind, can you get this happiness, what you really want, without the behavior? Then it's going to have to start re-evaluating. We're really flipping it here. We're really flipping it round and getting it to its core potentiality. So that's the first answer I'm going to give there. So bear with me. So we've got external sunshine of a spotless mind. Is it possible to overcome an addiction to a person? And I think someone actually also added one like this after that. So let's go with that. Let's just see. Okay, now we'll just stick with that one. We'll answer again if need be. So, is it possible to overcome an addiction to a person? No. Oh, of course it is. It is possible. I'm only joking. It is possible to let go of addictions to people. Now, the key is, once again, maybe utilizing that previous one we said, because all addiction is a behavior as well. So you could actually utilize that process. But when you think about the addiction, it's usually, when it even comes to people, it's like we're trying to get something externally to fill ourselves, whether it be through a person, whether it be through gambling, whether it be through drinking. It's a form of trying to get ourselves get something from something externally in some way. Now, there's a couple of ways if you do it. If you feel like you're coming across too strong, too needy, coming from a place of scarcity, that'll begin to frighten off the person. We've all probably had an experience where someone's been a little bit too needy. Best intentioned again, but a little bit too needy. So it's really important to be able to step back from that and really understand the communication here. Because when you think about it, when we come from a place of scarcity and need and must have, we come from a place of fear. And that fear and scarcity comes across. And it's not a very attractive quality to come across in that needy way, or that scarcity. It's like it's not of real core value. So how we can actually change the addiction to that person is this. And it's up to you if you apply this, and there could be some real big changes should you do this, but you can change it back as well or readjust it. When you think of that person, you're going to have an image in your mind in some way, and I know you're going to have a strong sense of feeling and attachment and association to that person, because that's how our brain works. You think of something you really, really hate or you disgust, you're going to think of it and have a feeling of repulsion. If you think of someone you really love, you're going to have that feeling of love. If you think of that person you're addicted to, the chances are you're going to have that feeling of addiction in some way. When you think of that image, all I want you to do is just turn down the colours in that image of how you associate to that person. Turn down the feelings there. And it can take a few attempts once again, but the more you keep turning it down, or maybe when you think of that person, make that person smaller and smaller further in a distance, we're starting to change the inner associations of how the mind associates to things or people. So by making that change in association, your body will have a different reaction to that thing. I do it all the time when it comes to people like smoking. This is where I get, like, the flip side of it once again, is that the person wants to dislike something, and I mean repulse it. So I get them to imagine a thing they absolutely repulse, how they understand that association. That's my phone going, so we're going to let it go for a second. So, how crazy is that? So, what we do is we turn down the association of that person. Turn down the colours, how we see that person, the experience we have when we have it in our mind. When we do that, our body and our unconscious mind changes the reaction to it, or to that person. So that's a great way of changing your association to how you have an addiction to someone. So by changing your inner images in your mind, you're going to start to change your your outer behaviours to that person. So I might go back to that one with another question following it. So the next one is, why can't I meet a man who will love me with all his heart and marry me? Great question. Now, when I say great question, I'm going to flip a little bit. If you say that question, why won't someone do this? Or why won't this happen? Or why am I always like this? Automatically, your brain searches reasons as to why you can't do that. So if we say, why can't I meet a man who will love me, we're going to then get the response of, because you're like this, because you're like this, you're not good enough, you don't go out there, because you're a silly person, whatever it may be. By asking the question, why am I like this, or why can't I have this, your unconscious mind automatically, your brain comes up with reasons as to why you can't have it. So quick tip here is, you start to flip that question. There's a lot of flipping, isn't there? We've got to flip that question round to, rather, why can't I meet a man? How can I meet a man who will love me with all his heart and marry me? When you ask the how, your unconscious mind's going to start to come up with the answers for you. It's going to say, well, you can do this. Put yourself in that situation. And also, how can you meet a man? I've just done a podcast on this with a real detailed one, literally a couple of podcasts ago, of really training up your mind and body to do this, and then doing a hypnosis section there. So it's really important to let go of that scarcity, change your focus from the whys to the hows, and when you do that, your unconscious mind will start searching for the answers. So to add to that, let's see what else we can do. One of the realizations is, maybe, I don't know if this is actually applicable to yourself who asked the question, but it could be such as to realize you're worthy, that you're good enough to have that person in your life. Because trust me, you are. I can guarantee you're absolutely brilliant. You're beautiful in every way. You're absolutely able and worthy to have love in your life. When you begin to realize that, you go away from need, you go away from the reasons, and then you get your unconscious mind to attract that person into your life. Whether it be through the law of attraction, if that's your belief systems, or another thing is just through the mind. The more you focus on what you want, rather what you don't want, your unconscious mind will start looking for that ideal person. So it's really about letting go of that, the why can't I do this? Include the how can I do it, so your unconscious mind gives you the resources to do that, and then focusing on what you want, listening to that previous podcast of mine, and then you'll be able to do that. So I think that's a real good key here. In fact, someone underneath that says, what am I supposed to do with my life? Wow, that's a big question, isn't it? What am I supposed to do with my life? Well, I just say follow your passion. Because that's the true calling of you. That's the true person of who you are. So when we think about our passion, think about what you enjoy doing. What's really important to you in your life? Is it things like helping people? Is it about experiencing the world? Is it working in a certain environment? Really go on the inside and ask yourself, what do I really want? What turns me on? What kind of gets me juiced up? What makes me really passionate about something? What do you enjoy in your life which you can actually add into another area of your life? So when we say, what am I supposed to do in my life? You're not supposed to do anything. Sounds a bit weird, but you're not supposed to do anything. You don't have to do anything, but you can choose to do what you wish. Because there's no requirement as to what you should do. It's about following your heart, following your passion, and then making things happen. I mean, if you need any help with that, email me at joseph@josephclough.com, and I might be able to add a bit more to that. But it really is about following your passion. You don't have to know the whole goal yet. You don't have to know where you'll be in 25 years. You don't need to know how you're going to apply it. Sometimes we get lost in the structure of our life. And I don't know what area of your life you're thinking, but I'm just going to take it when it comes to career or doing a job of some type. It's really important to figure out, well, rather than just figure out what the job you want, first of all, figure out what's important to you in a job. What do you want from a job? Is it experience? Is it variety? Is it passion? Is it excitement? Make up a list. Funny enough, I've just done the previous podcast about this as well, which goes into that. But really go into that and really focus on what actually you enjoy in your life. Focus on what really turns you on as a person, what really gets you going, what if you could do for free, you would do. Then you can start to put that into your life. And even if there's not, because there is a job out there, but even if you say there isn't a job out there, you can, out of the top 10 things you want, you can always find one job which will have a good 7 of those qualities that you have, 7 of those values that you really want in that. So it's really about figuring out what turns you on and what you're really passionate about before actually finding the context where you actually want those there. So forget about the jobs or forget about the structure or the context. Figure out what you personally, what gives you the most feeling in here? What gives you the most love? What gives you the most passion? When you put your attention there, your unconscious mind's going to start to look for other things which will help you with that. To find out the things which actually give you those in reality. So put your attention on what gives you the drive, the passion, the love, the connection in what you want to do in the world. Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, take the first step. First step is sometimes taking time out. Take the time out and really brainstorm, think about what really is passionate for you, and then you're going to start to see some real powerful changes. So take the time out. That's my tip there. What one tip, there's a next question, what one tip in one line would you give to anyone? Well, in one line, let's see. Great question. That's not it, by the way. Here it is. I'm going to say the sentence and I might add on to it. Put your attention on this very experience now. You are alive, which is the greatest gift you can ever experience. So put your attention right now and realize how special you are. That's really what my tip is. Be in this moment. When you become in this moment, everything else starts to change. Your reality changes. Be fully present in the now. When you're fully present in the now, you then develop this inner peace. The external world will keep on going, the life will keep on happening, but you're coming from it in a state of peace, of wholeness, love and gratitude. So my greatest tip right now, anyway, it'll probably change day to day, but right now is to be fully present in this moment. Put your attention on the now. Realize how awesome it is to be here. that you're alive, that you're living this life, and you're fully adding this life. This world would not be without, or be the same without you. And that's why, how special you are. We are all one, connected. And it's just the way it is. When you put your attention on all the beauty of who you are, being in this moment, everything really changes. So that's my more than one line tip, I think. That's what my tip would be for anyone. Where everyone gets that is another thing. Come back again, my camera I was using actually ran out of batteries, so I was halfway through the next question, but it stopped, so I figured, hey, let's just do it again. So let me just go back to the questions. You never know, may even have another one updated, which would be a good news, wouldn't it? So let's have a look. Now, the previous one was, what was the one question advice I'd give to someone, which I've just answered. The next one is, when you supposedly know all the things you're meant to do, but just can't seem to get yourself unstuck and move forward in your life. So, and then by the way, thank you. So someone just saying thank you as well, and bless me. So, but bless you back. So, the question is, supposedly this person knows all the things they're meant to do, but they just can't get themselves unstuck. So, first of all, I don't know if it's a bit of a mind read on my side, but when we say meant to do, it usually means we have to do it, we need to do it. So one thing I want to get clear on that might be why we're not actually achieving it, because we feel as if it's coming from a place of scarcity, of needing to do it, having to do it, and that's not a very motivating place. So if that is the case, we need to change it into, what do we really desire, what do we actually really want to achieve, rather coming from this place of need and have to and want to. But let's just say this person, that's just how they wrote it. I mean, you've seen my way I write things, and I'm surprised some of you make sense of it. But let's just say this person knows what they want to do, but they're just stuck right now. Sometimes the way it happens is, and I get there sometimes, I think all the things I want to do, but I just can't get myself from that place. So what I do is this. I think about what I want to do, what I actually want to get achieved. And the first initial thing is, well, I need to do this. But then I think, okay, let's go inside that. What happens once I've achieved it? When I step inside that, say like, for example, podcasts, I really love doing them, but sometimes I'm very busy. But I know I want to do one, but I'm a bit stuck with other things. So I put myself in what the state and the feeling of once I've achieved it. So imagine the things that you need to do or want to do. Go to that successful completion of that thing. Step inside that you. Really experience what you would experience having had that achievement. That's going to turn up a bit of the achievement levels and motivation. Now, once you get that, make those feelings bigger and bolder and brighter. Really expand upon them after the successful completion of doing those things. Because you quite rightly said, you know what you want to do, but you're just stuck right now. Sometimes we get lost in the stuff. And it's important to step outside, go into the future as to, once we've completed it, really get motivated by having done it. Then our body gets the feeling. Because half the time is we see the stuff, but there's too much of a gap there. So if that is the case, and there's too much of a gap and it's not really motivating you, go inside that you, having successfully completed it, and really feel those feelings. And that's going to start to motivate you. The other thing is beginning to see yourself do those things. See how you'd carry them out. So you're giving yourself and your unconscious mind a strategy of how you want to complete them. Sometimes we can also get overwhelmed by all the things we have to do. So break that into little pieces. So you know you've got the manageable steps to get there. So that's what I would do. I would really step inside of that me having made that achievement of achieved those things I want to achieve. And then that motivates me. Because I know when I do a podcast, for example, although it takes a lot of my time and energy and effort, but I do think about the reviews that I get. I do think about why I'm doing this. I step inside and I think, yeah, if I do this, I could have an impact on someone's life today. And that's the biggest motivating thing for me. So I step inside and then I start to feel this feeling. I think, yeah, now I really want to do it. So step inside that successful completion. So hopefully that answered that one. If not, you can reply and we'll go ahead and continue that one. Someone just says here as well, I have the same question as Katie, how do I overcome an addiction to the person that you love beyond reason? So I've type of answered that one. I've actually said here as well, if you could give me a little bit more information about that, because I think it's really easy. So I'll read out what I replied. So to answer the questions from Katie and Lisa, who actually put this on my Facebook fan page, I need a little bit more info. Is this person giving feelings back, but you're not coming, or maybe you're coming across too needy, or are they unaware or simply unresponsive? So I need a bit more information on that one so I can really give you the advice that I would give. The next one is, which we just answered, about feeling stuck. One after that is, when will I get pregnant? Is something holding me back? Sorry, that's two questions. Two questions is fine, isn't it? So when we get pregnant, well, I'm not really a mind reader here, but here's a tip of how you can get pregnant quicker. First of all is, I really don't believe in the whole cycles and when you're more fertile and things like that. You're putting to yourself too much pressure. Have no outcome in mind. Enjoy the process without expectation. Obviously it's an enjoyable thing. I'm blushing a little bit here. I used to blush, didn't I? But no, really, enjoy the process without expectation, without fear, without worry. And fully do it, and allow your partner to experience that too. Be spontaneous and just enjoy the moment. When you do that, everything's going to start to change. Your body's in a natural flow of beingness. But when we start to become fearful or having expectations of needing and want to, we're putting too much pressure on ourselves, or even the other person, if you're that person putting pressure there, or they're just simply experiencing that pressure too. So just have fun. Let go and enjoy the experience of that experience. And the other thing to do is just talk to your unconscious mind. Without expectation again, or without stress or worry, but just say, speaking to my unconscious mind, taking time out this is, just say, there's why I really want to achieve this. I'm completely in alignment with him. And I ask you, my body, to be in the best possible place to allow this to happen. Let it go, and then just enjoy the process. When we have that anxiety there, our body doesn't function very well. I mean, if you look at any performer, whether it be in sports or in music, whatever, if they're too anxious or too worried or too tied into the expectation, I know if I'm performing, I'm thinking, I've got to get this right, I'm not going to go very fluently in what I do. So just go with that flow. Enjoy the process. Be in the moment. And I think that's going to really, really help in every way. So that's my real best advice, and I think that's real key advice. The next question is, why someone can say you are the only one they love forever and then just walk away without a care. Did they ever truly love you? Wow, we're getting some real cool questions here, and I can only answer from my point of view. Yes, they could have absolutely meant it. They may not have meant it, but they can do. And then why they walk away, let's think about the intentions as to why they walk away, or why they walked away. What was their reason behind it? If not, you can actually ask this. Say, look, I just want to know. Even if you say things like, I want to know for future reference, I want to be able to correct anything, I want to make sure my relationships flow. By really understanding the intentions, and forget about the behaviours, really look at the intentions as to why that person walked away. Because things happen. The other things is that they could be programmed and associated with other stuff, where the first initial time when they did say that, they absolutely did love you. But for whatever reason, something happened along the way, and it's really interesting to find out what that may be without putting pressure on the person. And then, if there is a will to come back together, find out together how you know you're appreciated in the relationship. And then you can begin to fulfill each other's, not criteria, but their levels of feeling loved and wanting love and being in a loving relationship. And remember, there's only such things as learnings. And I think when we get that clear is, yes, I can't actually say, did they love you? Because I'm not in that situation to be able to comment. I haven't spoke to that person, I haven't spoke to you personally. But I think there's always something we can learn to get better for this relationship, the reconciliation of that relationship, or a future relationship. So it's really about understanding and looking for the intentions as to why they moved away. And then if there is a will to come back together, then really figure out and learn from this. Remember how you first had that love, and then how you can recreate that in the moment without any of judgment or anything like that. The next question is transition from an NLP student to a practitioner, making the shift between I don't think I have what it takes to I'm pretty good at this and make a real difference. This is for anything, it's not just for therapy. When we actually become to realize from can I really do something? First of all, yes you can, absolutely. I had those doubts once, and then I started to do it, and here's when I was 18 years old. I was very new in the game, and my first client was a manic depressive person. Technically, some people say I shouldn't be working with people with manic depression at 18 years old, having just passed a course. But I don't really care, because I got the result in about 3 or 4 sessions. And that's the beauty of this. You are so talented. You've had the experience on your course, whatever it may be. Now it's time to put it into action and be the power you're meant to be. Utilize the learnings that you've learned, especially on an NLP course or a practitioner, to really work upon yourself. Let go of that conflict. There's the NLP side. Do some integrations. Let go of that limiting decision. And really know that you're worthy in every way to do this. I get this question a lot, and it's really one of the things, just saying, look, you can do this. There's nothing to stop you but yourself. Blow out that limiting belief by, once again, go back to the first original question of, for what intention do I not think that I have what it takes? Fear, maybe. For what purpose? I'm safe. Keep doing that. You're going to break outside that boundary. And then take action. Put yourself in a situation and do it. Trust me. I put myself under immense pressure to get a client, see clients, and when I got it, first of all, I was anxious. I can't do this. There's no way I can be able to do this. I did it, loved it, and then my confidence grew. So the first step is taking that step and utilizing the processes you've learned to be able to do that. Next question. What happens when you imagine feeling good about yourself right now? That's an interesting question. What happens when you imagine feeling good about yourself right now? You feel good. Your body starts to feel good. It thinks it's real. It is real. When you begin to experience and imagine feeling good about yourself and acting as if you have, you're sending out the signal throughout your whole mind and body, your neurology. There's science, there's biology, and it starts to begin to understand that knowingness. The more you do it, the more that becomes a habit, becomes an associated habit. So what happens when you imagine feeling good about yourself? What I used to do about feeling good about myself, it sounds a little bit egotistical, but I used to look in the mirror when I didn't feel good about myself and just say, I love you. I'm good looking. I feel good. I'm an amazing person. I was looking at myself, and so in a sense I was imagining it as well and saying it, and then my body started to pick this up, and I started to feel and have that experience there. When you go there in the mind, you will go there in the body, and there's lots of studies about this, of how the mind is so powerful that when you start to think it and feel it, your body resonates with it. The more you do that over consistency, it becomes a natural habit, and it starts to change how your brain works. The neural networks start to become more connected. It starts to release those familiar feelings of self-worth and love. So the more you imagine yourself feeling good about yourself, the more it becomes real. It's just a simple fact. It's human nature. It's a habit which actually happens. The next one is, because I'm running a little bit of time, I think my battery might go again soon. The next one is, how do I hypnotize myself? Quite simply, I've got a podcast for that one. So search for my blog, which is josephclough.com/blog, and that teaches how to hypnotize yourself. I guide you through it. Ultimately, closing your eyes, breathing in a little bit deeper on the way out, and just relaxing. Listen to some music. I've got some also relaxation on my music on my blog as well. So search for that, relaxation music, on josephclough.com/blog. And that we may be familiar with my hypnosis tracks, the same type of music, or is the same music, and now start to reconnect that. I used to do it all the time when I first got into hypnosis in my work. I used to listen to a the piece of music I used to listen to. Relax, allow each breath to be that bit longer on the out breath, so you're taking yourself down, and just being in that moment. A bit like meditation, but like I said, I'll go into far more detail on that. So I'm going to quickly just refresh it one more time there. Let's see if we've got anything else. That was the last one, but we've got a wall post now as well. Explain mental illness and how it relates to free will. Interesting one, right? Mental illness is an interesting one because it's really about the label we get as being mentally ill of some type. We become labelled into this, and we can buy into that label of being mentally unwell, where it be as I am depression, so I am a manic depressive, or I am dyslexic, or I am whatever it is. We buy into that label, so it's important to not buy into other people's expectations and labels. You are perfect. You are absolutely perfect. You have all the resources inside of you, but we can be running behaviors which we don't like. We have these belief systems that I am this type of person, therefore I am this person. I am a label of some type. So really, and he said, how does it relate to free will? Well, if we buy into our mental illness or a mental illness, it takes away our free will. We've got to take back the power as individuals and buy into our own potentiality before anyone else's. Work upon yourself. Really get in touch with yourself. It's really interesting as the people who have got over mental illness are the ones who took responsibility for making a change, reclaiming their power back, their own free will beyond other people's labels, and really working upon yourself in a way where surrounding yourself with people who you want to be, asking them questions, how you can actually apply that into your life. All those types of things. So when it comes to mental illness, I work with a lot of people with mental illness, and it's really about reconnecting them back to their mind and body. When you have alignment in the body, you have ease in the body. You have congruency, you have wholeness. Going back to that is a real great place to be. If we get any more questions in, I will be sure to answer them to another one, because I really enjoyed this. It's been really enjoyable just answering these. I'm going to do a live one very, very soon, I'm sure, once I get all the technology sorted. And then I can answer you there and then. But I really love doing this, so go ahead and visit my website, which is josephclough.com. Also, go ahead and visit my Facebook fan page, so you can actually communicate with me, ask me questions at facebook.com/Joseph's fan page. I'm reading off the screen here because I usually get it wrong, don't I? And then on twitter.com/JosephClough. So really, let's get back down to the core of things. You're perfect. You have all the resources you need. Begin to let go of those self-imposed limitations and realize that you are more powerful beyond being, that you are love, that we are connected, that you can achieve the things which people say are impossible, because who defines impossible? It's only people or ourselves. When we let go of that limitation and we only buy into our true self, our true heart, then you're going to see wonderful, beautiful changes in your life. And I really believe this, and I hope you can tell by the way I'm coming across, but I know you can achieve everything you want, because you're worth it, and anything you think you are, you're always more than that. So have a wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you're listening to this or watching this, and I really look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.